Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to sketch the graph of exponential function, and this is the second part. I will put the link of the first part in the description box below. So the general form that we're going to focus on this video would be y is equal to b raised to the power x, where our b here is the base and the x is the exponent. Now, if we want to change this f of x is equal to the negative parentheses 2 raised to the power x into its equation form, we can rewrite this as y is equal to negative 2 raised to the power x. So the f of x is a notation for a function, and it's just pretty much the same thing as y. There are steps that we need to follow in order that we can graph this type of exponential function or equation. The first step is to set up the table of values. So in this case right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and label this as S1. So I'm gonna set up the table here. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do here is to fill this table in. We're going to start by plugging in these x values into this equation right here. So then we can go ahead and write the first one as negative parentheses 2 raised to the power the x is negative 2. So I'm just going to write the exponent here, negative 2 over there. So then we go ahead and simplify this. Now we remember that we are supposed to use this property of exponent whenever we have a fraction a over b with a negative exponent m. We can make this exponent positive by flipping the fraction. So that's how it came out to be b over a, and now the exponent is a positive m. So in this case right here, we can go ahead and say this is equal to this. Please remember that there is an invisible denominator of 1 on the 2 right there. So it's not written, but it's there. So then we can go ahead and simplify this as negative. So the negative is outside of the parentheses. So make sure that we make a distinction between whenever it's inside or outside the parentheses. So the negative here is outside the parentheses. So we can flip the one inside the parentheses to 1 over 2. And this time around, since we flipped it, the exponent now would be a positive 2. So then we can go ahead and simplify this. That's a negative of, that's gonna be 1 raised to the power 2 is 1 over 2 raised to the power 2 is 4. So that is a negative of 1/4, or pretty much this is negative 0.25 in decimal form. So I wrote that negative 0.25 right there. Now let's do the same thing here. Okay, now since we say that it's a negative of 1/2 raised to the power 1, anything raised to the power 1 is just the same number. So 1/2 in decimal form is negative 0.5, because again, the negative was outside the parentheses. Now I will do the rest of them here. Okay, so I've filled in the table, and we always remember that whenever we get this type of general form of exponential function, we always remember that the asymptote is y equals 0. Now, please remember that an asymptote is a line where the graph gets closer and closer to it, but it's not gonna touch it. So it just dives closer to it, but it's not gonna touch it, or it's not gonna get through it. So in this problem that we have here, we're ready to move on to the second step after we're done with the first step. The second step is to sketch the graph of the function. So then we can go ahead and sketch the asymptote first, that is on y equals 0. Okay, so I've labeled the asymptotes. We're ready to sketch the graph. So that's gonna be negative 2. So negative 2 goes with negative 0.25. So 0.25 is 1/4. So it's negative. So it's gonna go down here. And then I will sketch the rest of the dots. Okay, now we're ready to connect the dots together. So this is going downward this way, and then this side right here, again, it's gonna approach the asymptote, but it's not gonna touch it. So it's just gonna get closer and closer to it, but it's not gonna touch the asymptote. So this is the graph of this equation, y is equal to negative 2 raised to the power x. On the side, you will see the Desmos version of this graph. You will see that both the paper version that we have here and the Desmos version that we have are pretty much exactly the same. Now let's move on to the next example right here. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so again, we can rewrite this into its equation form. That's y equals negative parentheses 1/2 raised to the power x. So the first step that we're going to do is to set up the table. So in this case right here, I'm going to draw the table for this. Okay, so I've set up the table. Now we're ready to fill the table in. So these are the x values and we want to solve for y. So we're going to plug these values into the x. So we're going to start with negative, that's going to be parentheses 1/2. That's raised to the power negative 2 because the x was negative 2 right here. So I put negative 2 here. Now again, we remember that we're supposed to use this property of exponent right here. So if we get a fraction a over b with a negative exponent, in order that we can have a positive exponent, we flip the fraction and the exponent becomes positive. So in this case right here, we can go ahead and flip this fraction. This would equal to the negative of 2 over 1. Now the exponent becomes a positive 2. So then we go ahead and simplify this. So that's going to be negative of 2 squared is 4, and that's over 1 squared is 1. So pretty much this is negative 4. So that is the first value, and I will do the rest of them here. Okay, so I've filled the table in. Now we remember that the asymptote for this type of graph would be... Okay, so we're ready to move on to the second step. The second step is to sketch the graph. So first, again, the asymptote is y equals 0. So we can go ahead and sketch the graph here. Okay, we're ready to plot the points. So negative 2 goes with negative 4. So negative 2 goes with negative 4. So it's going to be right here. And then we have negative 1 goes with negative 2. So it's going to be down here. And then 0 goes with negative 1. So this is, by the way, negative 1 right there. So 0 goes with negative 1. So it's going to be here. And then 1 goes with negative 0.5. So halfway. And then the next one right here is 2 goes with negative 0.25. So it's quarter. So it's going to be at 0.25. For 25, it's going to be right there. So then we go ahead and connect the dots together. So this other half is going to go downward this way. And then again, this other half is going to approach the asymptote. It's going to get in closer and closer to it, but it's not going to touch it. So this is the graph of this equation, negative 1/2 raised to the power x. On the side, you will see the Desmos version of this graph. As you can see, both the paper version that we have here and the Desmos version are just pretty much the same thing. That's it. Did you get the same shape of graph like this? Good. Perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!